Yes, you're listening to Business Podcasting Made Easy, the Influencer's Formula, where you get a roadmap to instant authority and thought leadership with a podcast that you're proud of. You're listening on the IBGR radio network. This is episode number 28, and today we're talking about partnership monetization strategies with ads, affiliates, sponsorship, and how to choose. I am Donna Cundy, co-founder of the IBGR network, global radio authority, podcast expert, and producer of almost 14,000 podcasts using this exact formula that we are sharing with you over these 13 weeks.
Yep. And I'm Ben Joya, three-time international best-selling author with teachings that reach more than 50,000 people worldwide. Hey, that came from partnerships, right? And we're here to help you get your podcast done the right way to serve your goals, the impact that you want to make, and your audience in just 13 minutes at a time over 13 weeks. So remember to follow the plan at influencersformula.com. And if you want direct live support from us for your business podcast, then contact us today at ibgr.info. And as our friend Amit Ray says, collaboration is the essence of life. The wind, bees, and flowers work together to spread the pollen and my ability to speak. Wind, bees, and flowers work together to spread the pollen. And I welcome you to the show. We both welcome you to the show.
Collaboration is the essence of life. It is so true. Sometimes even the two of us sitting behind our microphones can feel like we're in a vacuum, but we're really not. And so as we are laying out the podcast profit playbook, this is about multiplying the effects of what you're doing, getting out of the bubble. And having your voice, like Horton Hears a Who. I was talking about that the other day. Remember that? Horton Hears a Who. I'm here. I'm here. Sometimes it can feel like that when we're podcasting, but it doesn't have to be like that, especially as you become a person worth listening to by choosing what kind of partnerships work best for your podcast season by season. It can be ads, it can be affiliates, it can be sponsorships, but it's really a multiplying effect. It's 10xing your efforts behind the microphone, because we talked about in episode 25 that you can bring influencers in and tap into their network, and that's a great way to get this happening. What we're talking about in episode 28 that's quite different is tapping into other organizations, other businesses, other people. And part of what you're hearing as we're doing this season is I'm podcasting. I'm a podcaster. That's what I do. And you hear, Ben, you're the book coach. You're writing the book. And that is what we're talking about in an alliance here. Podcasting and book writing. Wow, they really marry together so nicely. And as we're setting up this episode, it's thinking about who else does something that's not quite what you do, but can serve your audience.
Yeah. And I think a good way, Donna, when people are starting to question, okay, well, where do I start? Do I do ads? Do I do sponsorship? Think about the size of your audience as a good touchstone or starting point, right? And especially if you're at the beginning of this whole grand adventure with your podcast, the easiest thing we think that you can do is think about affiliates, right? Think about those kinds of people who have a reason to promote you and share you with their audiences. And then over time, as your audience grows, as your listenership grows, then you can start looking at ads, sponsorships, and those I guess deeper, more expansive ways to monetize the podcast.
Absolutely. And this is a question, Ben, I get a lot with our hosts at IBGR. How big do I have to be? How many listeners do I have to be? A lot of times they say, how many subscribers do I need? And the focus is on subscribers. And really what we're saying here in this episode is that it's not necessarily by subscribers. It's how many downloads are you getting, or who do you know? You might have clients or colleagues that would be interested in, a trade-off in order starting out here as you're building to the monetization. So it's about getting started in sponsorships and ads, because It is a great way to monetize your show. How do you reach out to these people? How do you find potential partners in this? Whether, and if I could just take a minute to give a definition, because that could get confusing too. Sponsors versus advertisers. What's the difference between the two? A sponsorship is where you read a little clip, 15 to 30 seconds at the beginning of your show, and it sounds something like this. This show brought to you by Influence with a Heart. You can reach Ben Joya at www, you just do a quick shout out at the beginning of the podcast and maybe at the wrap up to say, thank you again to Influence with a Heart for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah.
Reach them at.
Yeah, I like the thinking of sponsorships and shout outs as a way to remember that difference versus an ad. An advertisement is more like a regular old commercial, in this case, the kind of commercial that you would hear on the radio.
Exactly. It's 30 to 60 seconds. It might have some music in the background. It's very professional. They're giving it to you. And the way that you would do that on your platform is it would be either an intro or an outro or both. That's the space that you're selling in this one. And when I say selling, it's the offer that you're doing. You can do this one in the beginning. You can do this one in the end.
Yeah. And as you often will hear us say, make sure to subscribe to the show at influencersformula.com. I need tinkling piano music in the background, right?
Yeah.
And if you want support live direct from us for your business podcast, then contact us today at ibgr.info. Once again, that's ibgr.info.
Yes. So I have a list here that I want to go through, Ben, of how to find potential partnerships like that. If you're not sure, there's basically 4 main ways. You can create a pitch basically to go directly to different brands or different potential partners that you feel you want to have as part of your show, because they would be a benefit to your listenership. If you want to find them, you're just going to network with them. You're going to find small businesses and you're going to let them know what your podcast is about, what your season is about, because you're going to be doing this seasonally. You can update them seasonally or monthly even. And this method helps you stand out from the competition because you're going to reach mutually beneficial deal. You're going to avoid all the big confusion, and you're going to have complete control over who you choose. So you can just reach out directly to them.
Yeah, and LinkedIn is a great way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can also join a podcasting network, especially if you've been podcasting for a couple of seasons and you're getting some 4-digit downloads, about 5,000 to 10,000 an episode. This is when you become remember, we're talking playbook that you'll use all the time. And so you can grow with us. You don't want to let this playbook go, because as you begin to grow, then you can join a podcast network. That's a way to do it. You can use a podcast marketplace. Spotify does advertising. A couple of the other podcast marketplaces, so to speak, they do some. You can reach out to some people, and you can also find those that want to advertise in that space, and then use affiliate marketing. That's super easy. That's what we say to start.
Exactly. Yeah. And remember that, make this easy, right?
Yeah.
As my first coach, Lou, used to say, right? Make it work right, and then make it work fast, right? So start with making it work. And a great way to do that is with affiliate marketing. So before you get into the, more complex decision-making and, trying to, kind of wend your way through the bigger picture stuff, it's like, well, I have a small audience. Who can I serve in the best possible way? Whose listeners do I want to connect with, right? And what's the easiest way for us to get in front of each other, right? And from there you can build on it, right? Because there's plenty of activity through this adventure, as you keep hearing us say. So we say again and again and again, 13 minutes at a time, do the first thing, get it into place, and then build from there. And some people you might even find that you might just always do affiliate marketing, right? You don't have to do all the 4 things, right? If some things work, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Really, really important here.
Yeah, we're trying on shoes right now. And sometimes the shoes look great on the shelf and you try them on, you walk around a little bit, they don't feel right. So you just try on a pair of shoes. Any one of these episodes that we're going to be laying out either this week or in future weeks coming up, try the shoes on. If you like what they look like on the shelf, walk around a little bit in them, see how they feel, see if it's a good fit for you, your listenership, and your podcast. But affiliate marketing is an easy one. You get paid for each sale. You don't even have to worry about it. What do you need to do for this is ask yourself 2 questions before seeking out partners. The first question is, do I consistently get at least 200 downloads per episode? That's a metric you want to build to start charging, to start getting, that a payment within that. But with affiliate, not so much. I guess it's just a link. But if you're doing one of the other ones where you're doing an exchange up front, that's a good metric to look at. And what products or services would add value to your listeners? Again, going back to the partnership that you and I have been. If you have a podcast, you probably already have a book written. And if you have a book written, you have your roadmap already for your podcast. That's a real easy one to put together there.
Exactly. Yeah. Leverage.
Mm-hmm. We've been saying that a lot, huh? Yep. So I think as we begin to wrap up here, what we're really saying is just choose a monetizing strategy and then decide which partner you want to reach and how you're going to connect with them. Simplify it. It's time to get out of the glass bubble. It's time to Horton here's a who, eventually he's in Whoville, and you want to be in Whoville with Horton. So go ahead and make yourself known. And any one of these 4 strategies we've talked about over the last hour is a great way to begin with that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and just as we're wrapping up, we talked about influence, getting the right influencers on the show, giving value, monetizing through training, the elevated infomercial, and researching and developing your podcast the right way, and the partnership monetization strategies, the one that works for you, the ones that work for you, ads, affiliates, sponsorships, how to choose. When in doubt, start with affiliates. You can take it from there. And Donna, do you want to take us home for the week?
I would love to. Thank you. Next week, when you tune in with us, we're going to be talking about books and courses and ebooks and deep diving into those leverage strategies. So be sure to join us next week. We're wrapping up episode 28, partnership monetization strategies, ads, affiliates, sponsorships, and how to choose. This is business podcasting made easy. We're talking about the influencers formula this season on the IBGR network. I'm Donna Cundy.
And I'm Ben Joya. Thank you for listening.
We're so glad to have you on this journey. Have an amazing business week.
Bye.